checking, folks. Back with another reaction, back with some more Pet Shop Boys. And we're back with the final tune on the proper version of Behaviour, though I do think there are more tracks in the folder for this album. And there's another folder which seems to have like 7-inch remixes and alternative versions of tunes for this album. So yeah, as far as I know, this is the last proper track on the song, but we're not done going through tracks from this period. And yeah, it's called Jealousy. It's a feeling, it's an emotion that I think many people who've had relationships will understand, whether it expresses more prominently or overtly, or whether they're just moments where internally, you feel like you might not be the most important person in your significant other's life, or at least like there might be someone else who has messed up the dynamic that you thought existed before that, or maybe did genuinely exist before that. So yeah, I feel like jealousy is one of those human emotions that's unfortunate on multiple levels, because it's understandable. Like if you're involved with someone and then suddenly another person comes into their life and they start to turn away from you, or maybe break it off with you because they want to go be with this new exciting person, that hurts. That makes you feel like betrayed in a way. It makes you feel as if maybe what you thought you had with them wasn't really what was there in the first place. At the very least, it's hard not to, at least, in my experience, immediately begin to think, oh, but then, are they going to have the same kind of experiences that I had? Are my experiences with this person cheapened because I realize now maybe I'm just a number, to speak to a soft cell song? But it's unfortunate also because I think it leads to bad behavior of the person who's feeling jealous. People can lash out, people can maybe act out and do something that's damaging to the relationship, or maybe hurtful, or a betrayal to the other person because they're feeling incensed, and they end up doing something that maybe they'll later regret, or maybe they'll later feel bad about themselves, like that they sunk to a level, or maybe said something that they don't really mean but they knew would be particularly hurtful. So yeah, I feel like jealousy is unfortunate because you understand why it happens, but it often leads people to behave in ways that they wouldn't otherwise, and not usually for the better. So I wonder what Neil and Chris will have to say about it. They do seem to have very perceptive songs about the complicated and in some cases almost contradictory emotions that can be experienced by people in adult intimate relationships who ultimately have feelings but also have some sense of reason or logic, and sometimes the way you're feeling makes you go against what you perhaps would more dispassionately decide. So all these things seem like they're fodder for a tune called Jealousy. So let's find out what Pet Shop Boys have to say about it. This is Jealousy by Pet Shop Boys, the final tune on their 1990 album Behaviour. The title sound.
A day and night when strangers roam the streets in search of anyone who'll take them home. I lie alone. The clock strikes 3, and anyone who wanted to could contact me. A dead of night till break of day. Endless thoughts and questions keep me awake. It's much too late. Have you been? Who've you seen? You didn't phone when you said you would. Do you lie? Do you try to keep in touch? You know you could have tried to see the point of view. Could not hear or see for jealousy. I never knew. Time passed so slow. I wish I'd never met you, or that I could bear to let you go. A dead night till break of day. jealousy. Where have you been? Who have you seen? You didn't phone when you said you would. Do you lie? Do you try to keep in touch? You know you could. I tried to see your point of view. Could not hear or see for jealousy.
Some discordant troubled thoughts. And again, talking about warping your own perspective because you feel jealous.
Where have you been? Who have you seen? You didn't phone when you said you would. Do you lie? Do you try to keep in touch? You know you could. I've tried to see your point of view, but could not hear or see for jealousy. Where have you been? Who have you seen? You didn't phone when you said you would. Do you lie? Do you try to keep in touch? You know you could. I've tried to see your point of view, could not hear or see for jealousy. I never knew till I met you.
It sounds so triumphant. I mean, I picture like confetti and brass turned to the sky. We have crowd noise. Harps. Sounds like a coronation in an animated film. Yeah, really beautiful song. We enjoy the long fade. I was talking about a fade out, and what song was it? God, it's a song I just reacted to, and it was doing, there was like solo, like flourishing happening when it faded, and I commented, you know, it's never my favorite. I've come to accept fade out endings if it's just sort of repeating the same measure as a, you know, perpetual sentiment to end the track with. And a couple people commented, they're like, oh, I actually like it when you hear like special, you know, flair, like solo stuff as the tune's fading. And someone else commented like, yeah, I like it like when I produce material, I like doing that when I fade. It was like, I'm so perplexed, I'm so confused. But yeah, a really interesting tune, a very beautiful tune. Again, Neil's voice when he goes into that very smooth and floaty and sort of dreamy delivery, which was sort of the flavor here. I've loved that since I first started going through Pet Shop Boys, so yeah, I enjoyed his vocal work. Lyrically, I think it's very perceptive, and you know, just to share a little bit behind the curtain, I do remember an experience like a decade ago now, when I was seeing this woman and things seemed to be going well. They started, you know, we like hit it off immediately, had like several dates, it seemed to be progressing well. And then there seemed to be a point where like she kept saying that like, yeah, this is great, and you know, I want to do this and I want to do that, but like suddenly it seems like she wasn't making the time for it, and I felt like, I don't know, it just feels like the dynamics changed. I wonder if someone's come into her life and so on. And then like, because this is the era of social media, I remember I was going through my Facebook feed and I saw this guy had posted a thing about spending some time with her, and I was like, oh man, it's really happening the way I thought it was. Long story short, it turned out to be quite complicated. She was apparently seeing a couple different people, and even though, you know, I lasted longer than this other guy, eventually, like, she decided that, you know, she didn't want to see me, and I don't think she ended up seeing this other guy either, so it was like a really complicated situation. But in that moment, or not in that moment, but while this was unfolding over a couple weeks, there was a night where she had said the day before, like, yeah, we should, you know, at the very least, even if I can't come over to your place, because like she lived quite far away, like an hour and a half drive, 2 hour drive. She was like, I'll call you, and we'll definitely, you know, we'll have a good talk, like whatever. And then that night came, and hour passed, another hour passed, she never called. And look, in relationships, I don't like being overbearing. Like, if you want to be with me, great. But I'm like, I'm not someone to like call and like be angry. That's, it's like, look, if you want to be with me, cool. If not, that's unfortunate. But, I'm not going to waste any more emotional energy on this, because that's, it's not conducive to my mental health. So yeah, I was feeling very upset, and like the song says, it was like, you said you were going to call, you said it was like important to you, but here it is, the hours are ticking by because of a Facebook post I saw a couple days ago. Now I'm wondering, like, is this directly connected? Is she not calling me because she's spending time with this other guy? And again, you try not to think about these things, but we're human, we get our feelings hurt, and inevitably it was like, I bet you that's what's happening. And so now, like, has this all been futile? Did I get too excited about this too early? And all the sort of feelings of, being upset and feeling jealous, but then again, for me, not wanting that to steer my behavior in a negative way, or to steer my psychology in a negative way. It was such a like complicated thing. So again, in the end, it was really complicated, and I don't think it worked out for anybody. But I definitely know what that feeling is, which is discussed in the song, of expecting someone to call, and as the hours pass and they don't call, it feels like a personal slight. It feels like they don't care the way you do, and all the sentiments that can invoke. So I think it's a very perceptively written song. Once again, I think they really get at the complicated emotions of relationships quite well. So again, I enjoy the lyrical content as well as the sonic atmosphere. A more like ballad-esque tune to end the album, fair to say. To finish this off, I will say the final part, I'm not going to say it confused me, but it seemed like a really interesting twist for a song that is fundamentally a bit melancholy. And it sounded like he was also saying, like, I'm trying to imagine this from your point of view. Maybe you met someone, maybe they really are cool and exciting, and maybe they're, something special, and you can't help the way you feel. But the reality is, I'm feeling so jealous, I can't think that right now. I have no bandwidth, so to speak, for that. Like, it's not, that's not my struggle. My struggle is trying to understand why what I thought we had is not what we had. So, yeah, I did like that part of the lyrical elaboration as well. So yeah, a cool ballad-like tune to end the album, even if the final part, where it was triumphant and revelatory and celebratory, was seeming like crowd noise, like that you would hear again in a film where someone is being vaunted, celebrated, even coronated. So that took me a little by surprise, although it wasn't unpleasant in any way. It was just like, this is ironic, I feel. Either way, a cool album. Looking forward to going through the extra tracks and the remix tracks. So shout out to Seb for sharing all the Pet Shop Boys material. You are vastly appreciated. Do let me know what you think of this. I'm sorry for talking for so long, but sometimes like songs invoke personal memories and so on. In any case, let me know what you think. Peace.